Over the last month or so, Mac Jones has gained a lot of hype because of the stellar season and gaudy stats from his previous year, similar to the hype Joe Burrow got. But while the Mac Jones debate is going on, I got a little curious about the guy who has been every syllable of forgotten, Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask at one point was sitting on an 8-1 record versus all SEC teams, with his lowest scoring game being a 31-19 win versus Tennessee. He also dropped 38 points in his loss to Texas A&M. The last thing I heard about Kyle Trask was, he was one of many to fall against Alabama this year. But before we jump into the rest of the video, I gotta throw this in as a disclaimer. All right, I'm gonna be using a mixture of pictures and gameplay in this video because these motherfuckers are out here claiming money like the fucking what is it, the NSA, the IRA, the whatever. They out here claiming all right, so they're claiming me for anything. It's small platform, they're claiming that I need all the bread I can get. So I'm gonna try to throw some clips in here and there, but it's mostly going to be pictures and background gameplay. But still pay attention to the screen because I do pop up screenshots of, things that are relevant and things that add to the to what I'm talking about. All right, and let's jump back into it. So I was listening to guys talk about the upcoming quarterback class when someone mentioned that Kyle Trask threw for 43 touchdowns. Now this kind of raised my eyebrow because most analysts forget to put these kind of stats in the context because they assume that everyone knows, which y'all do. But we've had so many flashy stats over the last 3 to 4 years, we kind of forget that in college, all right, all teams play 12 games. Most average teams will play 13 games because of bowl games. And above average to great teams, depending on your conference, will play 14 games. So Kyle Trask threw for 43 touchdowns in 14 games, and he did this at Florida versus all SEC teams with the exception of Oklahoma. Let me fact check that. All right, yeah, the only non-SEC team he faced was Oklahoma. Anyways, now I'm not going to spend the next 4 minutes explaining why that's impressive. I'm going to let it resonate with the dudes who know, because if you know, you know. But what is shocking to me, despite that resume, Kyle Trask isn't getting any love in the media, and it's more than just ESPN and NFL Network, etc. I was researching to see different perspectives on this guy, which I highly recommend for anybody you're a fan of in this draft. Get different perspectives, but nobody likes Kyle Trask. And I've watched videos from Skip Bayless, Colin Cowherd, even though everybody hates him, Top Billing, Brett Coleman, QB School, Max Brown, and ESPN dropped a video about him this morning, but it was his head coach. Of course, his head coach is going to go bat for the guy, right? Anyways, the only guy who actually went to bat for Kyle Trask besides his head coach was Top Billing, which what I said in the start is basically kind of referencing the points he made in that video. He also added a film study in it, I believe. I don't know, I haven't seen that video in like a week or so. But as for the other guys, there is no respect for Kyle Trask in the slightest. The biggest ear-catching take on Kyle Trask was our beloved Brett Coleman, and I've been a supporter of Brett since about halfway through this previous NFL season, and at least to me, I know I could trust his opinion. But unfortunately for me, after he made this joke,
when Kyle Trask takes the field for warm-ups and they're mowing the grass, can he run from one side of the stadium before that grass needs to be cut again from growing too damn long?
Are you talking about across the field or the length of the field? Because that's going to make a difference.
I'll give him width.
After this, instead of discussing his ups and downs as a prospect, his co-host took over and they spent the rest of this segment roasting Kyle Trask, saying, and I quote,
I've heard the most people talk positively about him, where I got to his tape and I had no idea what they were talking about. Mac, it's Devonta Smith and Waddle, right? I never hear that with Trask. And the legitimate fact is Trask has 7 guys in the last 2 years on his offense that are in the NFL. The thing that really struck me as I watched I just watched him again twice this week because I was watching corners, like I said, and I watched Florida versus Alabama. So I watched Pat Surtain against him, and then I watched him against South Carolina. And the thing I was amazed by is how often it's not Kyle Trask being responsible for that offensive success. He can make a bunch of throws. He is a big, strong guy. He's got enough arm to operate in the NFL, but he's got these limitations with accuracy, with where he puts the ball for his receivers in terms of he hospital balled a bunch of Florida receivers in those 2 games. Not just
What?
Man, he's really not good. Like my opinion didn't stay the same. It's actually declined. And he was like, he's got no future, right? In terms of anywhere starter talent. Like he is a clipboard holder extraordinaire. But that is the general opinion. And I was like, I can see it now. If you'd said that to me 3 months ago, I would said, no, that's too harsh.
Now, telling the audience this guy has no future in the NFL is kind of fucked up. But depending on who you are, even if everything they said about Kyle Trask is true, since they only showed one half of the coin, I know some of y'all gonna feel like they hating, and because I felt that way too. But they ended that segment with Brett clowning a guy for saying Trask can have a career like Nick Foles, and Brett rebuttals that by saying Nick Foles has been cut and traded over the last 2 years, yada yada.
You know, he looks like Nick Foles out there, and I was like, he looks like Nick Foles. He's like, yeah, well, he's not mobile, but you know, he can make the throws down the field, and you protect him. And I was like, Nick Foles has been on like 5 teams, and since he won the Super Bowl, he's been, you know, cut or traded like twice within like 3 years, and nobody wants him. And you're saying his upside is Nick Foles?
But let's delete that recency bias, right? Off the top of my head, I could tell you that Nick Foles, believe it or not, actually threw for 7 touchdowns in 1 game. Oh, and believe it or not, Nick Foles is a Super Bowl champion. According to the football database, Nick Foles is 32-29 in all of his games, right? He's 32-29, won 32, lost 29 games. He's 28-27 in the regular season and a famous 4-2 in the post, right? And he also has been in the league for 8 years. At least he started a game in 8 years. The last 8 years. Now, besides that Super Bowl, right? That may not be impressive in the 7 touchdowns. But for a guy who you said has no future in the NFL, an 8-year career with 60 starts and a positive win-loss record, I don't know. That's pretty damn good to me. But look, they'll be all right. I was about to say like, I'm a fan of Brett Coleman, this, that, and the third. They're fucking older than me. They should be able to take a critique. They're cool and all, but it's a critique. Anyways, we're fucking grown-ups. But look, I'm gonna end this video by answering the question in the title. If it's not in the title, I said it earlier. Why isn't Kyle Trask getting any love? Well, to put it simply, besides the 43 touchdowns, he's just not flashy enough, and he's not polished enough. He has the same issues that Justin Fields and Trey Lance have, decision making, but the reason why Lance, who has the biggest question marks of anybody in this draft, is getting more love than Trask is because simply Lance has more to work with. His arm is 2 or 3 tiers above Kyle Trask, and his athleticism is a tier and a half above. I wouldn't say it's 2 tiers, but and with him and Mac Jones is way more polished, and they say Mac Jones is more athletic, but while that is true, it's kind of blown out of proportion. If you Google it, it will tell you Mac Jones ran a 4.740. If you go watch the actual pro day clip, they said they had him at 4.85.
Ability to move up in the pocket quickly, move laterally, and move to spots. And you can see here that he's clearly been training.
Fact from a buddy that's there, Scott, that had 4.85 on his first run. So,
and those were hand times, so you can give or take anywhere between nothing to a fifth of a second. Right, that's a fifth of a second. 0.05. That should be a fifth of a second. Let's do some math here. All right, I'm sorry. I got a notification. You heard it. It kind of distracted me. Anyways, Kyle Trask at his pro day ran a little over a 5 flat. Mac Jones ran 4.8. So if we use those numbers, Mac Jones is only 0.2 of a second faster than Kyle Trask. Now I know 40-yard dash measures straight line speed, but that's an example of how they be hyping guys up. Mac Jones is only 20th of a second faster. Tom Brady famously ran a 5 flat, a 5.2, right? That's slower than Kyle Trask. Like y'all gonna make fun of him saying he's slow, this, that, and the third, because he just didn't maneuver the pocket well. Just say he doesn't maneuver the pocket well. You don't bash the guy for, you can't, besides a couple workouts, you can't really, you're born with speed, bro. I'm sorry. I was about to go on a rant because I was not naturally fast and it hoed me in my career. Anyways, in conclusion, I'm not saying Kyle Trask is like a dark horse of this class, but if I had to do a player comparison, I would say Jake Fromm. Remember, everybody loved Jake Fromm coming out of college. It was widely accepted that Jake is going to be a career backup, but it was also widely accepted that if Jake Fromm has to start a game or two, he gonna hold his own out there because he knows what he's doing. He's a smart player. So I don't know why everybody acting like Kyle Trask's career is gonna be like the Hindenburg on ×4 speed. But hey, man, maybe there's a reason why they got platforms and I don't, bro. Anyways, if you know, man, because we know we up next. Sponsored by Atari, and I'm out.